The first note hits like a collision of elegance and exhaustion, something too beautiful to be accidental. That's the paradox the Verve thrived in, the chaos behind the calm, the storm hiding inside the string section. Their music wasn't about perfection, it was about surrender. And if you think that's overdramatic, wait until you realize how much of this band's success was held together by tension, near breakups, and a sprinkling of sheer luck, or maybe fate's favorite nincompoop moment. Let's talk about Bitter Sweet Symphony. That song didn't just play on radios, it haunted them. The string loop, borrowed and battled over, was never supposed to define a generation, but it did. Richard Ashcroft walked down that London street in the video like a man possessed, a prophet in a trench coat who refused to step aside. What nobody saw was the quiet panic behind the music, a rights battle that cost the band their royalties for decades. It's tragic, poetic, and perfectly Verve, making something eternal from a single mistake they never got to own. And the kicker? They turned legal defeat into musical immortality. A nincompoop's luck, perhaps, but one that rewrote Britpop forever. Then The Drugs Don't Work drifted in, slow, skeletal, and devastating. It's not a love song, it's a confession set to a heartbeat barely holding on. The guitars move like fog, and Ashcroft sings with the kind of weariness that only comes from trying too hard to numb what can't be fixed. Written after his father's death, it's a hymn for the moments when healing feels impossible. Fans didn't just listen, they breathed with it, finding something sacred in the despair. The Verve made sadness sound like surrender, but also like strength. That's what made them dangerous. They turned vulnerability into voltage. And then came Lucky Man. A song so deceptively simple it feels like a sigh after a decade of storms. Acoustic warmth, cinematic strings, a melody that glows rather than burns. It's gratitude disguised as melancholy, hope wearing a worn-out jacket. Ashcroft sings, happiness, more or less, like a man who's learned not to trust the highs, but loves them anyway. If Symphony was defiance and Drugs was pain, Lucky Man was peace. Or as close as the Verve ever got to it. The wild thing is, none of this should have worked. The band broke up more times than they topped charts. Their studio sessions bordered on psychic warfare. Yet, out of the wreckage came these 3 songs. Chaos sculpted into calm, noise refined into meaning. They didn't chase hits, they accidentally built hymns. Here's the truth, the Verve never wanted to be pop stars. They wanted to be remembered. And somehow, through ego, exhaustion, and a few cosmic coincidences, they crafted songs that still hit harder than most of what passes for soul today. Every note, every ache, every doohickey detail inside those arrangements, they remind you that beauty doesn't come from control. It comes from breaking, then finding something worth rebuilding. And that's why the Verve story still matters. They didn't just play music, they turned chaos into music. And somewhere between the storm and the stillness, they made time stand still.